The French royalty ruled over three types of people. There were the church people called the clergy, the rich people called the nobles, and the poor people called the commoners. In 1843, these people were being ruled by Louis XIV, who was just 4.5 years old. He was helped by this dude named the Chief Minister Cardinal Jules Mazarin, who led the country for Louis XIV. When Louis XIV was in his 20s and ruling the country without Chief Minister Cardinal Jules Mazarin, he wanted order and stability, so he tried to cut the deficit and promote industrial growth. So he added some arts, because he liked them too. And then he did a bunch of stupid stuff, and he exempted the rich people from paying taxes. His next stupid mistake was that he told the Spanish Netherlands that they actually belonged to his wife, so he went to war with them. Now people really didn't like this, so he tried to control them even more by forcing them to become Catholic, and he blew up all the Protestant churches. In his war, those resources in France were used up, causing his own people to starve. Then, when he went on a hunting trip and ignored his problems, he returned with a disease called gangrene and died in 1715. Now his great-grandson, Louis XV, took the throne at age 5. He was called Louis the Level Up because he was such a nice kid. Later, he was called Louis the Hated and died of old age in 1774 after ruining the economy with financial overspending and foreign relations disasters. Now his grandson, Louis XVI, who was born in Versailles, spent most of his time hunting, wrestling, and locksmithing for fun. Louis's parents ignored him, and he was very shy, but both his parents and older brother died when he was a little kid, and he became the heir to the throne. When he was 15, he married Marie Antoinette, who was actually his second cousin once removed. People liked Marie Antoinette at first, but then hated her because she was sympathetic toward their enemies. He was an immature king who lacked confidence and increased their doubt and debt. They tried to make France stronger, but lost all trust when he lost the American colonies in Britain. Then, his loans caused near bankruptcy, so he spent his time locksmithing instead of dealing with the French problems. So he called the General Assembly, and he was like, "Yo, you guys can fix France's problems." But those commoners at the General Assembly got up and said, "We don't like this, we're making our own constitution." Now the king didn't like that, so he brings an army to restore order. Now the people didn't like this, so they made a National Guard to fight the king's army. And then they stormed the Bastille prison in 1789 and set the prisoners free. Now the king's now like, "Okay, whatever, you guys can have some power." The people still didn't like him, so in 1792 they convicted him and his whole family of treason. He was guillotined in January 1793, and Marie Antoinette was guillotined that same year in
Oh no!
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine. You just can't get into it because they would never.
October. This unlucky couple had 4 children, but only one lived to be an adult. One daughter died before her first birthday, and one son died at 7 years old from tuberculosis. Then there was Louis the Charles, who when his family was convicted of treason, when he was 8 years old, he was raised by strangers and then sent to prison. When his father was guillotined, the people who still believed in monarchy claimed that this child was Louis XVII and was their king, but he died in prison when he became very sick. Lastly, Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette has a daughter named Marie Therese. She was 14 when her parents were put to death, and she remained in prison for 3 more years. She got out when she was 17. Then she married her cousin. It's a long story after that, but in the end she got become the Queen of France for 20 minutes before her husband abdicated the throne and they all had to run away and live in exile in Britain. Since they didn't have any children, she died in exile, and that was the end of the family line. Later on, Louis XVI's brothers would come back to the throne for a while, but that didn't last. The monarchy never recovered from the French Revolution, and that ended the French monarchy.